Oh, hello and good morning, everybody. Sorry it's a little bit gloomy. We're in the midst of a tropical cyclone, depression, whatever you want to call it, where it is absolutely hammering it down with rain. It's fairly windy, not typhoony windy, but there's been a lot of disruption, especially where we are up in the north. Ilocos, we're up in north of Luzon. It's been absolutely hammering it down for 3 days now. I've only been out a couple of times, so I haven't really seen the state of the surrounding areas. The main road's a little bit flooded, but at least I can get to and from the city centre. But yeah, it's not brilliant. We've had a couple of brownouts, which is normal when it's windy and rainy. You get a brownout, which is a pain in the arse. I can't afford a generator. Well, one that's going to be of benefit. I can't afford to buy the Bluetti setup, the solar setup. It's very expensive. Hindsight, if I'd have thought about it before I built the house, maybe I should have quoted that in. But hey, I didn't do it. But that's life. So I just have to put up with brownouts. So basically, the purpose of today's video was I applied. You can apply online for your NBI clearance, National Bureau of Investigation Police clearance, I guess. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm applying for a 13A visa, and that's one of the requirements on the checklist. You need your marriage certificate. You also need the certified true copy of your birth certificate, the BI issued identification certificate as a Filipino citizen. Well, that doesn't apply to me. The duly accomplished CGAF form, which is what I'm holding in my hand. A joint letter request addressed to the Commissioner for the applicant and the petitioning Filipino spouse, and the valid National Bureau of Investigation clearance. You also got to take a copy of your PSA marriage certificate, which is recognised by the PSA, not just the local one, but the countrywide one. Anyway, let's crack on. So I basically went down. You make an appointment online. You can actually pay for it online as well. Just type in NBI clearance Philippines and it will show you which site to visit. Make sure it's the official one to make your appointment. So I made my appointment at the local office in Vegan, and Julie went down there. I paid for it online. Julie went down there and filled out all the relevant documentation, had my picture taken and all the rest of it, and was told to come back 3 to 4 working weeks to pick up my NBI clearance, which I did. So I went down there last week and walked into the office and said that I've come to pick up my you get a reference number, by the way, on your application. You make sure you got that reference number, otherwise they'll just tell you to go and get it. And she said okay. I gave her the reference number. She went on the computer and then she said go and wait outside with everybody else, and we'll give you a call when it's ready. So that's what I did. I went and waited outside. Luckily it wasn't raining at the time. Mind you, it's got a cover on it. And I waited and waited and I waited. And people came in and were told to wait. And then she was coming out with their NBI clearance certificates. So I'm thinking, well, where's mine? I'm still waiting for mine. So I went back into the office and I said, I've been standing outside for half an hour waiting for my NBI clearance, and nothing's happening. To which an official looking person walked up to me and said, "Can you follow me? Walk this way." I thought, oops. So I had to follow this guy into a private office in the building. And, took me into the office and sat me down and started asking me lots and lots of questions. Where were you on such and such a date in 2004? Were you in the Philippines? I said, no, I wasn't even here in the Philippines in 2004. Anyway, what happened was somebody with my name, or the same name as me, also no middle name, exactly the same name as me, has been a very naughty boy. Because he's wanted all over the Philippines by the FBI, the NBI, the BPI. He's wanted by everybody on various charges. I'm not going to name him, because if I name him, I'll name myself. But apparently there's 4 charges on this guy's record. Cases, what's this say? Swindling, estafa, blah blah blah. I can't really go in too much about what he's wanted for, but they're certainly looking for him, put it that way. And because he's got the same name as me, my name came up as a hit. NBI hit. Now, what does an NBI hit status mean? Well, I'm reading from the website here, and it says an NBI hit status occurs when your name matches or closely resembles someone else's name in the NBI database who has a criminal record or a pending case, which he has, many. No, receiving a hit status does not automatically mean you have a criminal record. So when I went down initially to apply for the NBI, when I put my name in, on their little screen, HIT came up, H-I-T. I didn't think nothing of it. I mean, I didn't know what it meant. I soon found out when I got to the office. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a criminal record. It means that, as I just mentioned, the above sentence, that somebody else is, or somebody similar to you, has criminal activities, which is very disconcerting. Now, to be fair to the guy who dealt with me, he was a very nice fella, very nice bloke, but sort of made me feel like I was guilty before I could explain myself. The first thing he said to me when he sat me down was, or one of the first things is, I think you're going to need an attorney. To which I replied, I'm not going to need an attorney, I haven't done anything wrong, mate. I think if there's any adverse information on my name, I think you've got to prove that it's me. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. I've got to prove it's not me. So he took my passport and had a look, but the thing is that the passport didn't cover all the periods that the charges related to this guy was on. So I said, well, I have my previous passport, the expired passport, with lots of arrival and departure stamps to and from the Philippines. If it's going to be helpful to you, that you can take me off this list. I don't. It hasn't got any dates of these cases, the 4 of them. It's just saying one was at an address in Pasay, Makati, another one was unknown address, another one was unknown address, one's at a regional trial court, one's at the Metropolitan Trial Court, the other one's at the Metropolitan Trial Court. So I don't know what this bloke's done, but he's obviously done something wrong. Anyway, when the guy said to me that you need an attorney, and I said, well, I don't, because I haven't done anything wrong. He said, well, we can do it here. Apparently now this guy is an attorney. So what he made me do, he interviewed me, obviously asked me lots of questions. You know, when did you come in? I said, well, I don't remember the exact dates, but they'll be on the passport, which I can produce. In the meantime, he said, you have to fill out or I have to do a form called an affidavit of denial, which he duly started to type out. Number one, I am an NBI clearance applicant, and I was informed that one, the name, which I'm not going to mention, with cases of 1, 2, 3 and 4 carried on, and section 5 of this, the foregoing, I stated, the foregoing records do not pertain to me because I have never been prosecuted nor charged with any criminal offence with any prosecutor's office or courts in the Philippines. I am a retired blah 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 and have not been charged for any offence or crime. Number 7 is I am executing this affidavit to vehemently and categorically deny that I am the same person charged therein. And number 8, which I felt was a little bit guilty until proved innocent, was I understood that should any evidence herein found to be false, I am liable for perjury under Article 183 of the revised Penal Code as amended, and such for other criminal or administrative action that may be instituted against me. And 9, I am executing this affidavit to the truthfulness of all the foregoing statements and for all legal intents and purposes it may serve, which he made me sign. And he also put a statement, subscribed and sworn to me before this, whatever day it was, and his name and his signature on the bottom of this affidavit of denial. There it is. So you can't see the writing. I've since gone through my passport and I've written down all the ins and outs of the I have coming in to and from the Philippines, because apparently I need to go and get this cleared. But then reading this, they won't give you the NBI clearance until you get cleared. Well, he gave me mine. So according to this, I have an NBI clearance for a year. I just hope this is not going to cause me any problems further on down the line. Well, I will say at this point, I think it was around about 2014 I came to the country, I don't know, for a couple of months or 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it was, can't remember now. But on leaving, when I went to the immigration, to go through immigration, I was held there. I said, can you wait here a minute? And then the desk clerk shot off somewhere and came back with a couple of beefy looking security policey type armed people with the old rifle, you know, shotgun down here and all the kit on. I said, come with me. So who am I to argue when they've got shooters? I didn't have a clue what was going on, but they asked me to follow them, which I did. And then they stuck me in this, it wasn't a cell, but they put me in this room with a armed guard there and an armed guard there and somebody sitting there with a, you know, writing something down. And I was there for about half an hour. Now I said, I'm not being funny, but my flight's taking off pretty soon. So I need to get whatever problem sorted out here quick. Which fell on deaf ears. They weren't interested in what I was saying, whether or not they could understand what I was saying or not, I don't know. But they just sort of like sat there looking at me, and I said, I need to go to the toilet, to the CR. I was busting for a pee. So another guy came out, I said, what is it you want? I said, I need to go to the toilet. I've been sitting here for half an hour. I need to get rid of, I wasn't going to say some of the beer that I've been drinking. So he said to these two guys, whatever he said, and up they stood like this, marched me through, all the people looking at me going, what the fuck, you know, walking me through the bit of the terminal there to the toilet, opened the door for me, walked me in, and literally stood behind me when I'm having a pee. So I'm not going anywhere, I'm just going for a pee. Jesus. Anyway, I finished off, and then they marched me back to this office, and I sat down. I said, look, my flight's going in about, it was about 30 minutes until my flight took off. I was supposed to be at the gate. And with that, about another 5-10 minutes passed, and a really official guy, you know, with a few more badges and bits and pieces on him, came out with some paperwork in his hand, and he pointed to these two guards and the one that initially brought me to the office, and he was going blah blah blah, pointing at them blah blah blah, doing this on the pieces of paper. Now I can only assume that he was saying, did you not actually look at this person that we're looking for? Because the person they were looking for, same name, no middle name, hesitate to tell you what nationality he is, but let's just put it this way, in all politeness and no offence meant to anybody else, but the guy in the picture was black. He was Afro-Caribbean, or he was a darker person than me, put it that way, and looked absolutely nothing like me. Thank the Lord. He might be even saying, thank the Lord he doesn't look like me. But they totally, I mean, if they had done that in the first place, the piece of paper, you know, all the evidence, they're looking for this guy. And do you know what, to be fair to them, you can't blame them. If they're looking for somebody, fine. If there's a suspect, fine, you know, hold them. But when it's blatantly obvious that the guy on this picture is nowhere near looking like me, and my passport, by the way, they took my passport off me, you would have thought they would have just looked at the two and went, nah, that's not him. Obviously not him, let him go. Anyway, cut a long story short, very nice man, came up and apologised to me. He said, we're really sorry, sir, but you know, my officers are doing their job. Spoke pretty good English, and I said, no, I've got no problem with that. It's just if they'd have looked at the piece of paper you just shown them, obviously it's stating that that's not me, I wouldn't be sitting here. And when I go back out there now, everyone's going to be looking at me a bit worried. Oh, I hope I don't get on the same flight as that fella. He's obviously done something wrong, or he's been kicked out, or whatever. You know, I'm now sort of like stigmatised. So I can only assume that this fella that they found, that they thought was me when I went to the NBI, is the same bloke. And if it is, they've been looking for him since 2004. Where the bloody hell are you, pal? Come out of the woodwork and go and hand yourself in. And the other thing is, I'd like to add, that if that was me, do you honestly think that I would walk into the local National Bureau of Investigation and apply for a bloody clearance, knowing that I'm a wrong un? I don't think so somehow. I mean, he sort of politely smiled at that. He said, well, we've got to be seen to be doing our job, which is fair enough. I understand that, but I just felt a little bit violated by it all. Whether or not it's got something to do with the storm, like I felt like I needed to tell you this little story, but I found it quite amusing. But it just goes to show that if you are naughty and you are wanted in your country, I mean, the FBI is American, right? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or Interpol, or whatever. Don't come to the Philippines, and don't think you're just going to walk in here and sort of like hide and get away with it, because they are looking for you, because they found you through me. But it's good to know that they're doing a job, but sometimes I think they can be a little bit more diplomatic, don't you, about it, by sort of, I just felt that I was guilty before proven innocent. Now, reading further down this website, you can just click on it, go Google it. An affidavit of denial is a legal document. This is a legal document that you need to fill out if a criminal case is filed against you or someone with the same name as yours. And what happens after you submit the affidavit of denial, you will need to take an oath before a lawyer to verify your personal information. Once this process is complete, you will be informed about the release date of your NBI clearance. Now, I think this guy knew that it obviously wasn't me, because I haven't had to go before a lawyer, but looking at this, he is a lawyer, so he's given me this. I will go down there and check and see if that's, you know, done and dusted, but I do hope it's not going to give me any problems further on down the line. I have been out of the country a couple of times since prior to this, and haven't had any problems. I mean, I went to Japan, I went to India, we've got the visas, whatever you needed, and I didn't have any problems. It's just that since I've applied for this NBI clearance, it's been highlighted. So, to all you people out there who are naughty, don't come here and expect to get away with it, and if you do, you'll be found. They're pretty strict here. All right, so I hope that lightens your day up a little bit. Certainly more, but our day needs lightening up here. Apparently this storm's going to be going out, what's today, Wednesday, they reckon Thursday, Friday, so it's now 250 kilometres off the northwest coast of the Philippines, which is we're right on the top, on the tip, so we was right underneath. We was right in the eye of the cyclone. If it wasn't a typhoon, it was a cyclone. I think they're slightly different. But it sent down a fair bit of rain, and it was very windy, 100 kilometres an hour, which is by typhoon standards quite light, but windy enough to do some damage. But it's now shot off and it's heading off towards China or somewhere. But we're going to get the tail end of it. So it's going to rain for a couple more days, and hopefully it'll clear up until next week, when we're looking forward to yet another one. Mabuhay Pilipinas. Welcome to the Philippines. So on that note, be lucky. I'm going to finish it up now. Be lucky. Drink plenty of water, even though it's raining and there's plenty coming out of the sky. Keep smiling, and until the next time, I'll see you later. Bye.